Good morning, and welcome to Rocking with Realtors. Today I'm with Brian Foxworth, and he's with Geneva Financial. And we thought it'd be great to just sit and have a quick chat and talk about the different questions that come up when someone wants to get a mortgage to buy a home. So, Brian, first, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Hey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been doing mortgaging now for almost 20 years, coming this May. And, for all the different things I've done in the past, from branch manager on the banking side, mortgages are just the most rewarding. Helping someone get a home, whether it be a first-time homeowner or someone who's moving up from a smaller home, or even for vacation homes or investment properties. It's just a great time when people know they can get what they need for the family, or even just for vacation purposes, get into a new home instead of having to do an Airbnb. Works out very well.
Good deal, good deal. Well, hey, let's just jump in. The number one question we got was, which type of mortgage is best for me?
It's a very good question. One of the first questions I ask is, are you a veteran? And the reason for that is because the VA loan programs are really the best out there when it comes to no down payment, lower interest rates, and sometimes lower documentation you need. For example, most banks and credit unions have the VA purchase, VA cash out, VA interest rate reduction loans, but they don't have some other programs we have, such as the VA renovation loan and the VA one-time close restriction and permanent loan, all with zero down payments. Now, if they are not a veteran, ask where are you going to be purchasing your home. If this is in a rural area, then the rural USDA program is best because it has zero down payment and still a low interest rate. And then if they're not veterans and not buying in the rural area, then we look at FHA, depending on what the credit score looks like, because FHA is more forgiving for credit scores and still giving you a good low interest rate, more than what conventional is. But if you have a larger down payment and your credit scores are high, then sometimes conventional is better because you get no mortgage insurance after 20% down payment. So it all depends on what your scenario looks like, your income, assets, and credit, whether you're a veteran and where you're going to purchase, determining what type of mortgage is best for you.
Outstanding. Well, how do I determine how much house I should buy?
That's a very good question. What I look at, first of all, is, what is your budget? I think everyone, which I used to hate that word budget because it feels like it confines me. But what I realized was your budget, when you and your family are looking through it, it really makes a big difference on what can you really afford to pay. That's not going to give you a wincing feeling every month you pay it. I can give you an idea of what's the maximum amount you're approved for, but then I'm going to back it back down to, what do you feel comfortable in your budget to pay each month? It includes your principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and mortgage insurance payment, the total PITI payment. So that's what it comes down to.
Gotcha. So how much down payment do I need if I'm buying?
Well, it's all different questions. If it's VA and rural housing, talked about before, it's zero down payment. FHA is 3.5% down payment, but that could be taken care of, actually, with either your own funds, a gift from family or close friend, or even a gift, grant, or loan from your employer. Some of the larger employers will actually give you down payment assistance, which is really cool. And for conventional, 3% down payment is the minimal amount. And the same thing can be done with gift funds, those type of things. But we also have down payment assistance programs. And those come into the form of a second mortgage that pays that down payment for you. And there's different options for that depending on your situation and the criteria, where at least one of those options is you don't have to pay that down payment assistance back, and the others you do pay it back. And it all depends on what's best for your scenario.
Gotcha. Well, so how about this? What is my interest rate? I know that's an open-ended question, but...
Well, interest rates, they change daily, even during the day. And it all comes down to, it used to be in the good old days, I talk about the good old days at the turn of the century, how old I am.
I do.
It used to be by what was coming up in the economic calendar. An economic calendar has different things that happen during the week. Now it's the news of what's happening around the world and how the United States is affected by it before that thing actually happens. So if there's a news that the Fed's going to cut rates, then automatically the investors start buying more 30-year mortgage-backed securities and 10-year treasury bills, and those are the main two things that drive what the interest rate is going to be, along with your credit score, your income, the debt-to-income ratio, and what type of large home you're buying or smaller home, depending on the purchase price. So all those different factors come into be of what your interest rate is going to be. So if someone asks me that question, I say it totally depends on your scenario. Let's get all the documents in to make sure this is what we can lock in for you.
Gotcha. Hey, so how long until my loan closes?
Well, that's a wonderful thing about Geneva Financial. One of the main reasons I came there is because for FHA, VA, and conventional loans, if you're in a hurry to close and you get documents to me quickly, I make sure you close, if you want to, in as little as 2 weeks. Now, most people don't care about closing that fast. Most people only care about closing in 30 days, somewhere around there. But if you're in a rush for whatever reason, your lease is coming up, or you're military, you got to move them to base pretty quick, or be transferred pretty quickly, we can get it done pretty fast. USDA, we can't do that because USDA has to review every file. They can't guarantee how long they'll have to review after our underwriter gets done with their process.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me this morning, man. Rocking a little bit, having some coffee. Kind of end this with a happy Veterans Day.
Oh, yes.
Couldn't do this right here if it weren't for those.
Yeah.
Thanks again so much.
Yeah, brother.
Hey, if y'all have any questions, please reach out to us to buyandsellwithbuster.com. Thanks again and happy Veterans Day, everybody.